Okay, so today I am going to show you how to do your value line painting setup. So my requirements are that I have 5 different types of lines and that each different type of line is used 3 times. So I think I'm going to start off with horizontal lines, and I'm going to make 3 horizontal lines on my paper. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 horizontal lines on my paper. That means out of my 5 different types of lines, I've used 1. So now I need 4 more different types of lines. This time I think I'm going to use a bumpy line. 1 bumpy line. 2 bumpy lines. 3 bumpy lines. So now I have used 2 of my 5 lines 3 times. So now I need 3 more lines. Use 3 times each. This time I think I'll go with a diagonal line. So here's 1 diagonal line, 2 diagonal lines, 3 diagonal lines. So now I've used horizontal, bumpy, and diagonal, each one of them 3 times. So now I need to use 2 more types of lines 3 times. Let's do the zigzag line. Let me see here. I'm going to do a zigzag line. 1, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now I've used horizontal, diagonal, bumpy, and zigzag. So I need 1 more type of line that I can use 3 times. Let's go with good old vertical. 1, 2, 3. So now I have my 5 lines that I've used 3 times each, and I've broken up my paper. So now what I need to do is I need to take my value scale and I need to use 100% 3 times. I need to use 75% 3 times. I need to use 50% 3 times. I need to use 25% 3 times. and I need to use my 0% 3 times. Now, that's not going to fill in all of my spaces, but it's going to fill in a lot of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with one of them. Usually I start at an end and I work my way one direction or the other. It doesn't really matter. And I will go 100%, 100%, 100%. I'd be like, I have now met my requirements because I painted in 3 areas 100%. And then I'll move on to the next value and paint in 3 areas using those values, all right? I may use as many of the colors that I want. Here is a finished example. And as you can see, the colors are all sorts of colors, all right? I painted in each value, like here's a 0, and here's a 0, and I think that one was a 0 too. I didn't really write them down, but you can see that there's definitely a value shift in there. I used each of them 3 times before I moved on to the next value, and then I went back and I filled in more of them to help fill in the rest of the area using whatever value I wanted. Then when it was all done, I was like, I was looking at it and I was like, it's just kind of blah, just these big color fields everywhere. So then I went and I started adding in, I added in some dashed lines here. I added in some dots that went around this bumpy line. And then the zigzag line, I added in some lines from the valley of the zigzag. And then I continued with the dots that I had done there. Here I continued with my dashed lines that I had put over here as well. Here I added in some horizontal lines just to kind of give it a little bit of movement. And then here I threw in a bumpy line with some dots to kind of bring in what I had done over here. Now, I could have done a lot more, but that was what I did. With this one, I decided I wanted to have multiple values. I have some dark values here in the points, and then it's pretty light down here, and it color fades. It goes from this pinky red color into an orange color, which was, again, interesting compared to just having it a solid orange color, okay? So you can have fun with this, but you have to remember that you need to get 3 of each value on your painting before you start adding in those small details, okay? So how do I make value? Well, when I have the Tempera cake paints, I'm going to add black to my color to make it darker. I'm going to add white to my color to make it lighter. So my red is this 50%, and then I added some white, and I got my 25. And then I added a lot more white and water because the Tempera cake paints get thinned out with water, and then the white of the paper helps lighten it to get my 0. Then here I added just a small amount of black to get my 75. And then again, I added still a small amount, but more black than I had here to get my 100, okay? So I could use all red on this painting if I wanted to and have just red values of tints and shades. Or I could use multiple colors like I did on this one and have value with lots of colors. That's up to me how I decide that I would like to paint my value scale project. If you have any questions, make sure you ask in class or send me an email.